So, in order to understand just how important the case of Marbury versus Madison is, and that case came down in 1803, we got to go back to the 1800 election. So, remember, we had the president, John Adams, a Federalist, running against the vice president, Thomas Jefferson, who was Democratic Republican. In this particular case, we know that Jefferson and his Jeffersonian Republicans win. So they not only win the White House, the presidency, they also win both houses of Congress. So they've got two of the three branches right there. Adams looks around and goes, wait a second, I lost for president. My party lost in Congress. How do I keep the Federalist Party alive? Aha! There's still another branch, the judicial branch. And remember, the president is the one who gets to nominate people for positions within the judicial branch. And then, if the Senate confirms them, they can be there for life, which we're seeing right now, obviously, with the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett. So Trump nominated, and then, of course, the Senate is going to confirm, in all likelihood, confirm. Okay. So what we have to pay attention to is that Adams is sort of a genius. Adams is like, I can make sure that at least federalism survives in one part of the government. Now, I I went and I Googled midnight judges, which is what the act that basically Adams did was called, and there were no images. So this is what I got. John Adams, sitting there. I have to appoint Federalist judges before Jefferson gets here. So remember, the election happens, and then you sort of are what we call a lame duck until the inauguration. So Adams, like at the last second, is creating all these federal judge positions to make sure that federalism stays alive in the judiciary, in the judicial branch. Okay. So it's sort of a shady move, but at the same time, we've never had this sort of transition of power. So he's like, listen, why shouldn't I do it? Now, this is where it gets confusing. And it's confusing because literally all three of the players in the scenarios, names start with M. They all start with MA. Two start with MAR. And it just, it's weird. Okay. It's not an easy situation to begin with. Okay. So we're going to start with William Marbury down in the left-hand corner. William Marbury is a guy who was one of the judges that John Adams had sort of given a job to in what we call, this Midnight Judges Act, basically. That's what we call it. That wasn't the official name of the act. So William Marbury is like, yeah, I'm getting a job. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't get the paperwork in time. And Thomas Jefferson is now the president. And basically, he's like, no, I'm not giving you the job. Like the Democratic Republicans are like, why would we give you the job? Like that was done under Adams. We're not giving you the job. So he's pissed. So he goes, I want my job. So he feels that the only person that he can actually look to help him out is John Marshall, who is the new Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. That was something that Adams had made him, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So you're like, wait a second, why does a guy who wants a job ask the head of the Supreme Court? Well, there was a law that was effectively passed in 1789 called the Judiciary Act of 1789. I know it's confusing, but what it said was that the Supreme Court has the power to tell the Secretary of State what to do. Okay. So in this case, John Marshall could tell James Madison to give William Marbury his job. So Marshall could tell Madison to tell Marbury to give him his job. There was a law that basically said that. Okay. So James Madison, when asked, originally by Marbury to give him his job, he's like, I know my job is Secretary of the State, and I know that many of your students probably think that means the person who deals with like stuff outside the country. But in this case, actually, my job is also to make sure that these people that need their jobs get them. Okay. So Madison actually was supposed to give Marbury his job. That's what the Secretary of State does. But Madison didn't want to do any such thing because, again, he's like, I'm a Democratic Republican. You're a Federalist. This was all done by Adams. It didn't get done. Sorry, tough sugar. You're out. Okay. So Marbury wants a job. Madison won't give him his job. The law says that Marshall can tell Madison to give Marbury his job. But John Marshall's no dummy. John Marshall's like, listen, I'm a Federalist. Marbury's a Federalist. Madison is definitely not a Federalist, although he did write the Federalist Papers, so he's formerly a Federalist, back when they were a faction, not a party. So Marshall says, okay, if I tell James Madison to give Marbury his job, he's not going to do it. We know that. And then my branch, the Supreme Court, looks really, really weak. So, like, if I follow the law, I'm going to look really bad. And my branch is going to look really bad. So, this is just a bunch of lemons. Okay. Plus, just to make it more confusing, John Marshall, before he was Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, was actually the Secretary of State. And he was the guy that failed to get the paperwork done in the first place. And that's why Marbury didn't get his job in time. So maybe there's a little guilt there. Okay. So Marshall looks at the situation. He's like, I got these lemons. I got to make lemonade. So he says, what if I invalidate that law, the Judiciary Act of 1789, that says that I'm supposed to tell Madison to give Marbury his job? If I invalidate that law, if I declare that it's unconstitutional, then that means that I'm never in a position where I have to tell Madison to do something that he won't do, and my branch won't look bad. Yeah, sorry, Marbury, you're never going to get your job. You probably deserve your job. You're never going to get it. But the Supreme Court, we're going to get it. It's going to be good for us. So he says, listen, Marbury, you deserve your job. But I can't force Madison to give it up because we know he won't. But the law that said that I could tell Madison to give you your job, that's unconstitutional. Because frankly, Congress could never make a law that could even tell us what to do to begin with. So you're like, what is this? Who's Marbury? Who's Madison? Who's Marshall? They all sound the same. Here's the bottom line, friends. Here's the bottom line, okay? Before John Marshall, the branches looked like this. You have the White House, you've got Congress, and you've got little puny Supreme Court. The executive branch and the legislative branch dominated, and the judicial branch was basically nothing. But John Marshall makes them all equal. And the way that he does this, look at that animation. I'll talk about that animation in a second, is he declared the Supreme Court has the power to review any law passed by Congress. That's judicial review. And so again, the lemonade that he made out of lemons was he declared a federal law, the Judiciary Act of 1789, unconstitutional. And in doing so, basically said the Supreme Court has a ton of power. Congress, you get to pass laws. President, you get to sign or veto those laws. But if they're signed, we still get to determine if they're constitutional or not. So we are a power to be reckoned with. And so it's really important to understand that it's very confusing, the Marbury, Madison, Marshall sort of triangle that's going on. But what you really need to know is in that decision, it was the first time that the Supreme Court invalidated a federal law. And in doing so, it also basically said, states, you don't have that power. So that whole idea of compact theory that was brought up by Jefferson and Madison around the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions, that's irrelevant because we now know the Supreme Court has this power. So in doing so, Marshall actually takes power away from the states. And that's important because if you look here, Alexander Hamilton is going to be dead soon. Sorry, spoiler. But if you look at this picture, he's like whispering in Marshall's ear well beyond the time that Hamilton is alive. If you look at Marshall, he's there for almost 35 years. So even though the Federalist Party is going to die, I mean, truly be dead, John Marshall is sitting there as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, making decision after decision after decision that Hamilton's ghost is applauding, may even be like inspiring Marshall to do. They're the kind of decisions that give priority and power to the